When I looked around the NFL for the topic of this week's film room, Lamar Jackson's game against Miami kept popping up everywhere I looked. This game was a complete masterpiece. Jackson threw the ball 20 times and he completed 17 of those throws for 324 yards and 5 touchdowns. After charting each of those throws, the crazy part of all this wasn't actually how bad the Dolphins played in this game. Yes, they were pretty bad, but we already knew that going into the season. What really surprised me, and the real reason behind this video, simply came down to Lamar Jackson's accuracy. He was downright lethal in this game. He led his receivers, he threw the ball well on the run, and he threw with good timing on crosses and hitch routes. Everything just seemed to go right for him in this one. Now, I bring this up really for one and only one reason. Last season, this was far from the case. Jackson wasn't nearly this accurate, and he wasn't this good at getting through his reads, nor was he good at fully seeing the field. This improvement is really what impressed me and why I created this breakdown. Before we jump into a few plays from this game, I want to show you just how poorly Jackson ranked in terms of his accuracy last season. According to Pro Football Focus, Jackson ranked last in open accuracy where his receivers had 2 or more steps on the closest defender. He was 3rd from last in step accuracy where his receivers had between 1 and 2 steps of separation. And finally, he was ranked dead last again on tight window throws, which are when his receivers had less than 1 step of separation. Needless to say, and when you add all these points together, Jackson was just not accurate as a rookie. So with that in mind, let's check out a few of his plays, starting with his 3rd throw from this game. This one went for 47 yards and a touchdown. Lining up at a shotgun, the Ravens motioned one of their tight ends from the left slot to lining up the line of scrimmage on the right. Jackson saw that a defender traveled with this motion, and he also saw that one of the linebackers looked like he was going to blitz. These 2 points together are pretty good indicators that the Dolphins were playing in man coverage. This was confirmed after the snap. The Ravens ran a run-pass option featuring a double slant concept off the backside. Since Jackson counted 8 in the box and seeing the free safety stepping closer to the line of scrimmage, this clearly told him to execute the throw portion of this play design. Looking at his receivers, Marquise Brown ran a slant route against Eric Rowe from the left slot. He stemmed his route vertical and outside, and then he sharply broke back inside in order to gain leverage on this play. Jackson placed the ball low and in stride, and this allowed Brown to secure the catch and escape up the field for the long touchdown. This was a good throw, and it was also a great run after the catch by the rookie receiver. On another play later in the first quarter, the Ravens were faced with a 3rd and 3. Before the snap, Baltimore lined up on the right hash and put 4 players on the boundary. To cover potential short routes by the sticks and to not let the Ravens collect a quick first down, Miami called cover 2, dropping 8 into coverage. Due to the Ravens' tight alignment and Miami's underneath defenders sitting at the sticks, this created a one-on-one between Brown and Minkah Fitzpatrick. In this situation, you can probably guess who won on this play. Brown ran a post route while Fitzpatrick was caught completely flat-footed. This was another good throw by Jackson to lead Brown into open space, and this created this long 83-yard touchdown. While there were pretty much only good throws in this game, I counted 1 missed opportunity after I went through all of his plays. It's kind of ridiculous to say this, but Jackson could have had a 6th touchdown. This happened late in the 3rd quarter. On 3rd and 4 in the red zone, the Ravens once again put 4 men at the boundary. Instead of seeing Chris Moore win inside on his post route, Jackson dumped the ball underneath to Willie Snead. Unfortunately, instead of Snead catching this pass for another first down conversion, he dropped it and the Ravens had to settle for a field goal. Just unfortunate considering that Lamar could have had another touchdown in his stat sheet if he only threw the ball to Moore instead. While I've broken down 3 of his plays in great detail and there are plenty more I could have picked from, the key point from all these throws was that the ball was where it needed to be in terms of placement. Even against tight windows or throws where it had to be in a certain spot at a certain time, Lamar put it exactly where it had to be. Now, he did finish with 3 incompletions during this game, but as we already saw by the drop by Willie Snead, the other 2 are also pretty innocuous. Outside of these 3 plays though, there really isn't anything else to point to. Now, one thing you may have noticed throughout this breakdown was that scheme and poor defensive play were obvious factors in this game. That much is definitely true. However, the reason why I'm so excited after watching this film is simply how much Lamar improved since last season. On all types of throws, to open step or tight windows, Lamar was much more accurate than he ever was last year. His NextGen stats tell that same story. He was only expected to complete 60.2% of his passes based on distance and separation, and he completed 85. Meanwhile, if you look at his metrics from last season, he was supposed to complete 63% and he only completed 58. Going from last season to this season, he clearly improved drastically in this metric. So the question you may be wondering is, how did he actually do it? How did he fix his accuracy from last season? That answer, in my opinion, comes down to his footwork. How he syncs his throwing motion to his base is the big reason for this change. Last year, on any given play, Jackson's footwork was not the same on a play-by-play basis. He would too often throw off balance, and he would throw on the move when he simply didn't have to. Now, if you fast forward to this week, every throw seemed to showcase the same solid base. it was much more consistent. He threw with a good shoulder width base, and even though he didn't always step into his throws, it was at the very least a very repetitive motion. That alone is why I think he improved from last season. This is why I'm so excited and why I don't think this game is a fluke. Yes, he'll never put up 5 touchdowns and 300 plus yards with an 85% completion rate, but at the very least, he shouldn't miss half of his throws by poor footwork. That alone shouldn't be undervalued. If he continues to focus on creating consistent base, I think this performance will only be a small taste of what we can see from him in this offense. Well, that's all I have for you in this one. With football season finally here, MyBookie has generously agreed to sponsor this video. If you are like me and you're looking for a great sports book to wager on this season's games, look no further. They have the best lines around, and their easy-to-use interface makes it extremely easy to find all the current week's matchups. I strongly recommend giving them a try. For a limited time only, and if you use my promo code Samuel100, MyBookie will double your first deposit up to $1,000. Go ahead and use that code to take advantage of that offer. Thank you so much for watching and for all of your support. Also, if you want to keep this channel going, you can support me through my Patreon account, or you can follow me on Twitter at SamuelRGold.